In movies and money, Venom: The Last Dance crossed $300 million in ticket sales worldwide at the box office, while the new Tom Hanks Robin Wright film tanked. Let's bring in our film critic, Erik Childress. Hello to you, Erik.
Hi, Angie.
Please break all of this down for us, Erik.
Yes, definitely a good news, bad news situation starting at the top with Venom: The Last Dance having a much better hold than expected. When the weekend started, analysts and even estimates had the film dropping down to around 19 to 20 million. And when the weekend was over, that number was up to 26 million, which put a whole new spin on its final estimates. And we're talking a difference of potentially $40 million just domestically to a run of around 150, maybe 160 million. Now, down marginally from the previous films, but with over 325 million already worldwide in less than 2 weeks, the film should be a profit for Sony and is still climbing. Now, on the other hand, the studio's release of Robert Zemeckis' Here was another disappointment for them, the filmmaker, and those like myself that are fans of the movie. Sony and Columbia Pictures has a history with Zemeckis, going back to his second feature, The Hilarious Used Cars with Kurt Russell back in 1980, when they scattershot the release around the country just 2 weeks after a little phenomenon called Airplane came out. Then in 2015, they released this terrific film, The Walk, strictly in IMAX theaters on the same weekend that The Martian came out. Now, The Walk was quickly forgotten and barely grossed $10 million. Now, Here is going to finish a little better, but not by that much. The reviews have not helped the film, and they are wrong, but like many films that fail at the box office, I hope this is one that will eventually be discovered by movie lovers.
Here's a look at a film that could shake up the box office, a thriller starring Hugh Grant. Take a look at this clip of Heretic.
You like pie?
Yeah.
My wife has pie in the oven.
I could tell that you are a very spiritually curious person.
I think it is good to be religious, to find your faith in a doctrine you actually believe.
Well, our work here is done.
Now, I will go and check on the pie.
So sleep, silent angel.
This is a film that debuted at the Toronto Film Festival, Erik, and you loved it.
Absolutely, Angie. Not only is Heretic one of the best horror films of the year, it is one of the best films of the year, period. It involves 2 young Mormon missionaries who ring on the wrong door. Behind it is a man played by Hugh Grant who proceeds to trap the girls inside his home and give them a terrifying history lesson into the hypocrisies of religion, and probably one to the audience as well. Now, this is more than just atheism run amok, though, as his test of their faith gets even more grueling as the night goes on. Now, the film was written and directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, who are responsible for the first A Quiet Place film, and this is another terrific high-concept piece of horror. The screenplay is original and challenging, it delivers shocks when it needs to, and has a central performance by Grant that I believe is deserving of an Oscar nomination for one of the best of his career. It's one of those films that holds you in its grasp the whole way and will have you discussing it and perhaps even its ending long after you leave the theater. A24 is releasing the film this weekend. Reviews are over 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm telling you, it's one of the best of the year. Go see it and give us some numbers to talk about next week.
Heretic is not the only film on your movie stars list this week.
Yes, clearly Heretic will not be everyone's cup of tea, so I just want to remind everyone that just because a movie has a disappointing week at the box office does not mean that that movie is instantly gone or shouldn't be seen. Now, having now seen Robert Zemeckis' Here, I can say that I've been saddened by the way many colleagues of mine have dismissed the film, because I really think it is terrific. Like Forrest Gump, I find it to be a very cynical view of the American dream, albeit one shown to us through a kind of Hallmark lens. Zemeckis is a master of subversion throughout his career, and just because he's presenting a story where the idea of home can be as much of a prison as a comfort, doesn't mean that he is not delivering an emotionally lasting tale that will produce laughs and tears, but most importantly, something you can leave the theater with to discuss. This is not a movie merely of cheap sentiment. It is visually fascinating and slyly constructed that invites you to piece together the various timelines and what those connections represent. This is a film you want to see more than once, and based on the box office last weekend, a lot of people have yet to see it that first time. Take the opportunity while it is still in theaters. Trust me, it is worth it.
Noted. See here on the big screen. Thank you, Erik.
Thank you, Angie.
Go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.